Hello everyone, welcome to another Quant Bootcamp where we'll be taking up and starting with arithmetic, one of the most asked questions in the XAT paper and definitely very important for all of you. So in this bootcamp session, we'll be covering up the major topics of percentages, profit and loss and interest. Okay, so I'll be covering up these three topics quickly. कुछ basics, कुछ facts जो आपको पता होने चाहिए, which will not only help you in the quant section but also the DI section, क्योंकि ये दो chapters तो आपको quant DI दोनों में काम आने वाले हैं. All right, so let's get started with the percentage value. The first formula which you all need to know is the percentage change formula. We all know that percentage change is actually equals to new value minus original value divided by the original value. तो जो भी current value है that will come first and the denominator will always be the original or the initial value. Now please mark the words absolute. This was also one of the PYQ's question where they asked you about the absolute change and gave you one of the options in negative. Many people did a mistake because they were getting a minus answer. Take an example right here on the screen where you see that the earlier sales were 2500 crores and now the sale is 2200 crores. So if someone is asking you the absolute percentage change, you will do what? The present value, that is 2200 minus 2500 divided by the old value 2500. अब हमें आ रहा है नेगेटिव आंसर. ठीक है, फॉर एग्जाम्पल द आंसर इज -300 by 250 I mean 2500 into 100 which accounts for a negative 12%. But since the question asks you about the absolute value, know the meaning of absolute, that absolute is always positive. ठीक है, तो ये साइन है, इसको हम मॉड्यूलस बोलते हैं. तो मॉड्यूलस साइन will always cancel out all the positive negative signs and leave you back with a positive answer only. So जैसे ही absolute बोला, so irrespective of whether you're getting a plus or a minus, your answer will always be a plus. Okay, so that was one place you need to focus on. Now we have some formulas. A disclaimer for all of you, those folks who have not done profit and loss or percentages nicely, you are not aware of the rules of percentages at this point of time. Going by these formulas might be a headache. Why? Because आपको अलग से ये formulas याद करने होंगे. So the better technique for you people is to always solve the percentage questions or the PNL questions with the help of taking CP as x, है ना, कोई भी वैल्यू को x लेके चलो और उसको सॉल्व करो, आपके लिए वही बेटर है. बट जिन भी लोगों ने इनके कम से कम 30, 40, 50 क्वेश्चंस भी बना रखे हैं, उन लोगों के लिए ये फॉर्मूलाज काफी बूनफुल होंगे बिकॉज दे विल बी सेविंग योर टाइम लाइक एनीथिंग. Take an example. If a price of a commodity increases by R%, then the other thing will reduce. Okay, this rule is called as the inverse rule. If you people know that if suppose if the time increases, then the speed decreases. If the speed increases, the time decreases, keeping the distance constant. Here also, if the price of the commodity is increasing, then there is always a reduction seen in the other quantity. Like here, it is consumption. So what will be that quantity value? It will be R by R plus 100 plus R इंटू 100%. जैसे कि अगर आपको किसी भी चीज में सिंपल वैल्यू कन्वर्जन बताती हूँ, ठीक है, लेट्स टॉक अबाउट 25%. सो सपोज किसी भी चीज की प्राइस 25% इंक्रीज हुई है, तो हाउ मच विल बी द रिडक्शन इन द कंजम्पशन? द वैल्यू शुड बी 25 by 125 into 100, and if you simplify it, you would find out that it is 1 by 5, and 1 by 5 is nothing but 20%. So it is also shown in the way of fractions, guys, that if something increases by 1 by 4, it decreases by, the other thing decreases by 1 by 5. ये रूल पक्का है. where the denominator is added by +1. अगर आपको डिक्रीज पूछा जाए तो the denominator is added by +1. तो अगर स्पीड में 25% की इंक्रीमेंट है तो टाइम में 20% की डिक्रीज होगी. ठीक है, वाइस वर्सा. सिमिलरली इफ द let's talk about the other scenario. The other scenario is where you say that your speed, or let's say first quantity, the price of the commodity is decreased by, let's say same percentage लेते हैं 25%, that is 1 by 4th. So 1 by 4th से अगर आपकी price decrease हो गई है तो the increase in the consumption will actually be 1/3. Okay, that is the denominator -1, and 1/3 will be the value equivalent to similar states. Okay, so you go by that value only, 33.33. इस तरह से आप अपनी calculations को आगे लेके चलोगे. बहुत faster technique है and is definitely going to help you tremendously in the DI part. Okay, now let's get started with the other formulas. Similarly, if the income of A is R% more than B, then B's income is less than सेम रूल, लेस देन जब भी आता है तो डिनोमिनेटर में +1 करना है, एंड मोर देन जब भी आता है तो डिनोमिनेटर में -1 करना है. That's as simple a rule to keep in mind as possible. Now a small question for you people to check your skills at with the answer. So if the price of the coal is raised by 20%, then the reduction in the consumption would be how much? It would be equals to 1 by if you carefully observe, it will be equals to 1 by 6, which is 16.67. Okay, and you have to follow the rules here. उससे ज़्यादा कुछ आपको सीखने की समझने की ज़रूरत नहीं. You can skip that part. Coming to the next part, which is simple and compound interest. The simple formula of simple interest is P into R into T, where here the T is N. Okay, so which is the years only. So this is where you multiply the values, and I will not describe it in detail. इसको मैंने revision का form दिया है, तो इसलिए I'll not explain you things over here. I'll just tell you the basics. Basics इसलिए बता रही हूँ क्योंकि the people who are doing it for the first time, even if you are completely blank in this section, if you watch this video थोड़ा आराम से धीरे से, then you would feel and understand the thing, and at least will be in a position to make attempt the questions and at least make some educated guesses. Now coming down to compound interest, so understanding the difference between compound interest and CI is very important. That compound interest में क्या होता है कि आप जो interest कमाते हो after the first year, आपको उस interest पर भी पैसे additionally देने पड़ते हैं या लेने पड़ते हैं, जो भी आप कर रहे हो, whatever your role is in that question. Okay, so the interest over interest is called as compound interest, and therefore the formula goes as the principal amount multiplied with 1 plus the rate of interest divided by 100 taken to the power of the number of years. Now years can be any interval. Okay, and if you subtract the amount minus the principal, this is the formula for amount, then you get the value of the compound interest also. Now few important rules to be kept in mind is that the time period after which the interest is added each time will form a new principal. तो conversion period का हर एक compound interest में हर एक conversion period का अलग principal value होता है, and it can be calculated annually, semi-annually as well as quarterly. एक simple सी rule है जो आपको याद रखनी है, that if the interest is paid semi-annually, that is half yearly, then the number of half years will be taken in the value of n. So suppose if you have 1 year में आप 2 बार payment कर रहे हो, तो when you raise something to the power of n, you're taking 2 in that formula, just like that. Okay, and in the case the interest is paid quarterly, then you will have to divide it into 4 parts, so multiply it with 4 basically. Okay, and the rate per year will also get divided into 4, so the number of intervals will increase by 4, and the rate per annum की rate divide हो जाएगी 4 से. Now when the rates are different for different years, let's say R1, R2, R3, then we use the formula of writing these terms separately. So what we were doing is, when the rate of interest was same, we were just raising it directly to the power of the years. But here the rate of interest is different, so we are multiplying them separately. And the fifth case is, in the case of the time is a fraction of a year, let's say y x by z, then you first find out the number of years ऐसे, and then find out the fraction अलग से. अभी इतना डिटेल में मैंने आपको ये सब क्यों बोला? Because if you know the detail, at least you know that allows you a lot of time. So if you want, instead of going blank and just doing a tukka strategy here, you can actually go by the depths. आप किसी फॉर्मूला को यूज करने की जगह एक्चुअली मैनुअली मल्टीप्लाई करके भी आंसर निकाल सकते हो. तो इफ यू नो द ट्रिक, you can take extra time, but you still can manage to get one answer, and any one answer can fetch you a lot of marks and a very high boost up in your percentile as well. Now finally talking about the difference of SICI, जो कि एक्चुअली आपको इस पूरे चैप्टर का क्रक्स सिखा देगा. When interest is payable only on the principal sum of money at the end of the every year, the total interest paid at the end of the year is called simple interest, and when the interest is charged on the principal but also on the interest accrued, then it is compound interest, that I already told you. So in 2 years, a simple example is कि फर्स्ट ईयर में अगर मैंने 1500 रुपीज लिए हैं, तो मेरा फर्स्ट ईयर का इंटरेस्ट क्या आ गया? 150 at the rate of 10%. ये मेरा current ये जो current amount है, this is not only my CI but also my SI for 1 year. But then when I plan to get for 2 years, I'll just directly add up 150 and get a 300 for SI. But that will not be the case for CI, because in CI the principal will get updated, and therefore now we will be calculating interest के ऊपर interest यानी 10% of 150, okay, and then we will add it up to our final answer. So 300 plus 15, that will be 315. तो ये पूरा basic concept and crux है जो कि अगर आप एक बार समझ गए तो you might take a little more time to solve than others, but you will at least be able to solve the question nicely. Finally, moving down to some formulas which can help you people to reduce a lot of efforts and time is that depreciation formula, especially population की cases में, so raising to the power, and that goes in compounding as well, guys. So जब भी आपको population formulas पर कोई भी calculation करनी हो, तो remember you have to go by the formula of compound interest. It's on your screen. जैसे कि if I say that the annual increase in the population is 4% and the present population is given to you, so what will be the population in 3 years? The raised value will be 3, the percentage will come in R, and the principal is the starting population, and that will give you the answer. Similarly, there is also a concept called as hire purchase. देखो ये सब बस fancy names है, but in reality deep down what is this? It's just talking about how much down payment you make plus how much is the real cost of the item and what will be my monthly installments. And इस question को घुमा फिरा के अलग अलग way में पूछा जा सकता है. It's not that they will only ask you the monthly installment. I have given you an example where I'll use the same formula to find out what will be the total amount at the installment charge. So if they are charging 400 rupees for a transistor which they are ready to give at 100 rupees down payment and remaining 70 months 70 rupees per month for 5 months, then the total cost will obviously be 70 into 5 plus 100 which accounts for 450. तो अगर मैं इंस्टॉलमेंट के फॉर्म में लूँ तो मुझे 450 पड़ेगा जो कि एक्चुअली में मुझे वन टाइम में 400 पड़ रहा है. दैट मीन्स माई इंस्टॉलेशन चार्ज वुड नॉट इंस्टॉलेशन इंस्टॉलमेंट चार्ज विल बी 50 रुपीज. तो ये बेसिक सा क्वेरी है. जब भी आप अपना फॉर्मूला शीट बनाते हो ना उसमें कोई हाई फाई क्वेश्चन मत रखना, एकदम बेसिक क्वेश्चन रखना ताकि आप फॉर्मूला को समझ पाओ. एंड वंस यू अंडरस्टैंड द फॉर्मूला effectively you will be in a very good situation to do what? You will be in a very good situation to play around with the terms in the formula. Okay, moving next we have some profit and loss terms. ये मैं आपको पढ़ के नहीं बताने वाली, ये आपको ऑलरेडी पता है. आप एक बार क्विकली स्क्रीनशॉट ले लो या फिर आप इसको रीड थ्रू कर लो. बस एक चीज है जो which is very very important for all of you, that is that when you calculate the loss or the profit, the denominator is always the CP. It is always calculated on the cost price, one thing to remember, and so is for the discount, it is the marked price. Okay, now what is important for you people to remember is number 13. Whenever you buy an article at a discounted price, you are actually taking the selling price, and that selling price is the marked price minus your discount. Okay, this relationship will help you get all the questions done. I will be giving you some examples. Take a bag. Bag is normally costing 2000 rupees and sold for only 1200 rupees. The discount as a percentage of the marked price would be how much? Now remember that it is sold for 1200, so this is my SP, and marked at 2000, that is my MP. So if I am calculating the discount, it's always the difference between MP and SP, and that is 800 rupees. And if someone asks me the percentage, then the denominator will always be the marked price, which is 200. Okay, also if an article is sold without discount, then the MP and the SP will always be same. Why is a highlighted pointer there? Because in some questions they can tell you in language कि हमारी कोई डिस्काउंट ही नहीं थी, तो अगर MP इतना है तो SP इसके इसका उसका वो नंबर है. I mean SP is 7 times more than the CP or something like that. So in that case they can ask you to find out the CP, है ना. तो MP और SP के बीच का रिलेशनशिप भी क्लियर होना चाहिए. Now again a second disclaimer. These formulas will be helpful to the ones who have practiced at least few questions of profit and loss before. अगर आपने पहले कभी भी इस तरह के questions practice नहीं किए हैं तो मे बी ये formula आपको थोड़ा सा dreadful लग सकता है. But anyways, pay attention. If two items are sold each at X rupees and one gains P% and another loses P%, then the overall loss, ध्यान रहे, overall loss will always be P square by 100%. And the absolute value of the loss, if someone asks you, not the percentage, but the absolute value, then that goes by the formula of 2 times P square X by 100 square minus P square. Taken क्विक एग्जाम्पल, जैसे कि अगर मैं ये बोलूं कि 2 आइटम्स आर सोल्ड एट अ डिफरेंट प्राइस, लेट्स से ₹100 पे मैंने इसको सोल्ड कर दिया, एंड एक आइटम पे मुझे 10% का गेन हुआ है और दूसरे पे 10% का लॉस, तो प्लीज डोंट गो बाय द मेथोडोलॉजी की ओ 10% लॉस 10% गेन, जीरो. No, not zero profit. You're actually landing up upon how much? 100 by 100, 1% loss. तो बेसिकली आप 1% लॉस पे ही हो, आप 0% पे नहीं हो, आप 1% लॉस पे ही हो. इसका डेरिवेशन दिया हुआ है, so if you guys are interested you can go through that. Number 2 says if CP of 2 items is same and the percentage loss and gain on the 2 items is also equal, then the net profit is 0. So if the CP is same, in the previous case the SP was same. So that is the difference between CP and SP. Now third number, buy X and get Y free. If X plus Y articles are sold at a cost price of X articles, then the percentage discount will be Y by X plus Y into 100. इसको आप कोई भी छोटा सा फॉर्मूला लेकर खुद ट्राई कर सकते हो और देखो कि फॉर्मूला वर्क कर रहा है नहीं, इसके बहाने आप थोड़ा सा प्रैक्टिस भी कर लोगे. ओके, एंड इफ यू आर नॉट कंफर्टेबल यू कैन वेरी वेल स्किप इट एंड स्टार्ट डूइंग द क्वेश्चन विथ CP is equals to 100 only या X, whatever you are comfortable in. This is also one common question. मैं आपको इससे related एक question भी practice कराऊंगी. Using the false weight, if a substance is sold at the cost price only, then the overall gain will actually be the true scale divided by the false scale. That means I'll give you a quick question. Actually उसके help से बहुत प्यार से हो जाएगा. And if there are two successive or two or more successive discounts given to you, जैसे कि 50 plus 40% off, so that is not actually equals to 90% off, dear. It is actually equals to 50 plus 40 minus 50 into 40 by 100. Okay, you can try it out quickly. 50 plus 40 is 90, but आपको subtract करना है क्या? 50 into 40 by 100, which will be 20 with 2 more zeros, which I'll cancel and make a 20 minus over here. So you get the calculation. I hope you all got the calculation. So it's 90 minus 20, which is 70% off. So basically 70% off को वो लोग market में बड़ा बड़ा करके 90% दिखा रहे हैं, which is not true. And इसके पीछे का logic क्या है कि पहले आपको 50% off दे देंगे, उस पर जो आपका reduced price होगा उस पर further 40% off देंगे. That's the concept. और fourth वाले के लिए follow me down here. Let's check the first question over here. A dishonest dealer professes to sell his goods at the cost price, but उसका weight क्या कर रहा है? Actually में 100,000 grams की जगह 960 grams दे रहा है. तो मैं क्या कर रही हूँ? मैं directly true weight divided by false weight कर रही हूँ, which will give me the value of the gain percentage, which is 4.16. एकदम quick way of getting the answer. Try another question with me, everyone. A boy buys eggs at 9 for rupees 16 and sells them at 11 for rupees 20. What will be his gain or loss? The only thing you need to keep in mind is कि हमने इसका LCM निकाल लिया. किसका? 9 और 11 का. कि ऐसे जब questions रहते हैं जिसमें CP-SP compare की गई है दो different quantities की, तो जाओ और सिंपली LCM निकालो और 99x का CP और 99x का SP निकालो. तो how will you do that? If 9 eggs are sold at 16, so 99 will be sold at simple into 11. Similarly here also into 9. So therefore 180. Now you have a quick comparison between the two and you can find out the profit, which will be 4 rupees on 99 eggs. Okay. Now his gain and profit percentage would be 4 rupees upon the CP, which is 176 into 100, which is 2.27. Okay, simple. Let's go down. Another question and the last one for this video. A trader allows a discount of 5% on the cash payment, and how much percent above the cost price must he mark his goods to make a profit of 10%? तो यहाँ पर तीन चीजों को रिलेट करना है. फर्स्टली वी विल टेक आवर CP टू बी 100. दैट इज द मोस्ट बेसिक एंड ट्रस्ट वर्दी मेथड. सारे फॉर्मूलाज गए भाड़ में. अगर आपको ये आता है तो आपको किसी को याद रखने की जरूरत नहीं है. CP 100 है. We know that we want to make a profit of 10%. So SP कितना हो जाएगा? 110. Now we know that we are supposed to provide a discount of 5%. So if the SP is 110, That is the value which I purchase at after getting a 5% discount. That means 95% of the marked price is equals to the SP, which is 110. Now you can equate it that 95% off is multiply, or the total amount, or let's say the MP is equals to 110. So MP will be 110 into the reciprocal of it, which is 100 by 95. एक बार आप ये कर दो तो आपको आंसर फटाफट मिल जाएगा, विच इज 115.79. बस इस तरह का जनरल रिलेशन आपके दिमाग में क्लियर हो तो आप लोग इस क्वेश्चन को एटलीस्ट अटेम्प्ट कर सकते हो. एट दिस पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम आई नो मोस्ट ऑफ माई जनता इज ऑलमोस्ट ब्लैंक एंड दे थिंक लाइक पता नहीं क्या ही हो जाएगा, मुझे तो एग्जामिनेशन फियर है. फियर सिर्फ तभी होता है फ्रेंड्स जब आप कुछ नहीं कर रहे होते हो. एटलीस्ट स्पेंड द लास्ट फ्यू डेज डूइंग दिस अमाउंट ऑफ प्रैक्टिस. ट्रस्ट मी, आप जब खुद को काम करते हुए देखोगे तो आपको चिंता नहीं होगी. And with this, I will end this video, guys. I hope this is useful for all of you. Please hit that like button and comment करके जरूर बताना कि आपको कैसा लगा. Please help me grow my YouTube channel by sharing with more and more people. And if you are new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. See you in the next bootcamp, guys. Take care and please study hard.